Hi, I'm Brendan Marty, Project Manager of the Mentally Healthy City Project. I'm here with Brett McDermott today at the Townsville Hospital. Now Brett, I understand that you have some experiences in disaster recovery and mental health.
Videos. Just a little bit about credibility. I was kind of intrigued to work out that my first disaster response in terms of mental health was in fact in 1995 after the Southern bushfire disasters in Sydney. Since then I've consulted or treated people after the Canberra bushfires, the Denali bushfires in Tasmania, Cyclone Larry, Cyclone Debbie. I saw every family in Grantham after the Lockyer Valley floods and the Brisbane floods. So kind of like, this is a little bit my area. Look, the other credibility thing is that I had a lot of flooding in my house after the Brisbane floods. I know that smell of mud and I know how hard mould is to get off and also what mould does to gyprock. So I kind of have a little bit of lived experience in this area as well.
Now Brett, I understand there are different stages regarding mental health following a disaster. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Look, let's first start with this idea about stages. Now, stages are actually incredibly helpful. So stages allow us to break down the kind of, the journey into a little bit of, pieces we can understand, because there's different emotional effects at the different stages. It also helps us with the major understanding that a disaster response is not a sprint. A disaster response for many people is going to be a marathon. Hopefully not that bad for most people, but I've never seen a kind of a sprint. We need to prepare ourselves for kind of the long haul. So this first stage is really the stage of the immediate shock and the immediate kind of physical getting our environment livable again stage. And there are some mental health implications about that.
So tell us about this stage.
A lot of people don't see sleep problems as a mental health issue, but one of the problems with this stage is actually sleep deprivation and also kind of chronic fatigue. Some people are so keen to clean their house and get the mud out and get the mould out and get things right again. But they forget there's only 24 hours in the day, and they forget that some of us, like me, are not as young as we used to be, and we actually need to have some rest and not actually work 20 hours a day. And so they build up this huge debt of fatigue and a huge sleep deprivation debt. And those things can come back and bite you. Those things can actually lead people to get depression, for instance, or increase anxiety. So there are some really interesting things around this early stage.
Thank you for your time today, Brett. Really appreciate those words. If there was a key message you'd give us today, what would it be? And I understand that you're thinking of doing these videos regularly in future with a range of different messages throughout each of the stages.
The big message at this stage is that even though these are about emotional health and recovery, we need to think about our physical well-being. And our physical well-being is in this space is really manifest mainly by sleep and by being physically fatigued and avoiding both of those things. Now, today we want to actually release 2 videos, so I do want to follow this straight up with another video about some of the emotional symptoms that you might actually experience at this phase. But you are right, I think it would be very useful to every major period of the recovery, come online and put on the Mentally Healthy City Facebook what people might expect, because you'll be surprised, a lot of the things you're experiencing are completely expected and kind of completely normal for that phase.